Hello everyone. I just wanted to share a little reflection on church life, particularly as we face more weeks of self-isolation or social distancing. The start of my reflection began because I was tired. I was tired of sitting in front of a computer or holding a mobile phone. I was tired of looking into a camera. Many of us will feel the same. It is physically tiring. And Zoom or FaceTime or Skype and WhatsApp, they're not the same as face-to-face meetings and physical interaction with one another. And so none of what I say in this reflection will change the set of circumstances and the challenges that we currently face. But I do hope that it might cement the change in my own perspective and perhaps change your own perspective too. And it will help us all consider the local church biblically at this time. As I was preparing this little reflection, a friend of mine just rang and reminded me of a talk he once heard. The speaker was talking of the sheer power and importance and the value of the local church. And the speaker said in that same talk that he wanted people to stop attending the local church, which is an odd message, wasn't it? But what he was really saying is this: we don't attend our marriages or attend our families, and therefore we shouldn't attend the church. The body of Christ, the church, is part of me. I belong to it. I don't attend it either on Zoom nor on the high street. And this understanding is more important than ever in these times. A thought occurred to me last night that the need to be seen in one another's homes, to visit one another's homes virtually, is important for one another. It's not about you or I, it's about one another. That is found within the Bible. Paul, the Apostle Paul, spent considerable time in prison and communicated from prison, and his friends visited him whilst he was in prison. And prison is a form of imposed social distancing and isolation. And we have some folk who are in a kind of prison at the moment who are part of the church. Their only visit may be a phone call or the DVD that is created each week of our Sunday Zoom meeting. But that DVD or the Zoom meeting itself is a visit, and it really matters. It matters because as we log in, as we turn on our cameras, they get to see our faces, they hear our voices, they watch us wave or smile or just listen. Paul spoke to the Romans in the Bible, and he said about longing for an opportunity to see those in Rome, to see them, to encourage them, to strengthen them. Zoom allows us to see one another. The final verses in the book of Acts records that Paul was now in prison in Rome, and he was socially distant and he was isolated, but he welcomed every believer who was able to visit him, to see him. It made such an impression upon him that he mentions them by name, and God saw that as such an important truth that it has been recorded in the Bible, the one book that will endure forever. When Paul was also in prison, he wrote to the church in Philippi, and after explaining that he had learnt the secret of being content, which is a familiar verse to many of us, where he says, "For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength," he immediately says to them, "You have done well to share with me in my present difficulty." When we Zoom for one another, we share with one another our present difficulty. He also wrote from prison, as recorded in the letter to the Colossians. And again, there is this exchange of greetings. In other words, he's saying hello is important. Hello and being seen by one another matters. He encourages these greetings to be shared as much as the good news in the rest of the letter. And he ends the letter by saying, "Remember my chains." This challenged me to remember the chains of those I am Zooming to, or who I know will receive the DVD of the meetings which I can participate in. I know I can't be in every meeting or accept every invite, either due to tiredness, illness, or perhaps another commitment. But I know that this particular reflection has reminded me that I don't Zoom for myself. I Zoom for those in prison. I Zoom for one another in this present difficulty. Paul often ends his letters with the words something like, "May God's grace be with you all." And I pray that his grace is with you also during this time.